You were born with your head wrapped, you are a bandage, which means you are very unlucky. You are lying in some kind of burrow, and around you are 8 other babies just like you, with whom you will have to spend 60 days together. But today is only the 30th day, and for the first time, your mother has brought some new food to the nest. It's a mouse. You are surprised because until now your only food was milk. And today, for the first time, you tried something made of meat and you liked it, even though you haven't quite gotten used to the taste yet. The 50th day comes and all of you go out for a walk following your mother, the steppe polecat, in a single large line. You shouldn't stray too far from her, or else she'll grab you by the scruff and carry you in her teeth herself. You might try to run away, break free, or throw a tantrum, but one day you'll hear this sound. No, those aren't birds of prey. That's your mother crying out, trying to protect you from someone hiding in the bushes who is about to eat you. That's how she scares off other animals, and she's pretty good at it, considering you're still alive. Now you realize that things are serious, and from this day on your training begins. At first you just play with the mouse your mother brought you for practice. You try to catch it, to bite it, but you can't manage it. It keeps escaping from you. You're still a complete beginner, slow and inexperienced, but you need to learn and try harder to catch that mouse. Because in just 10 days, your mother hints that she's tired of bringing you food, and you find yourselves outside the door. Now the entrance to the burrow is closed to you. Only 2 months have passed, and now you're on your own, just like the other marbled polecats in your family. Your mother has taught you everything she could. From now on, you'll have to manage on your own. Your sisters adapt to this world incredibly quickly, and within a month they find a mate and start a family. But you and your brothers will take another year to mature for this event, deciding that you should live for yourselves first. One day, while walking through the field, you encounter another animal that aggressively charges at you, doing everything it can to drive you away. You've stepped onto its territory, and in the animal world, territory is taken very seriously. There are only 2 options: start a fight or retreat. Realizing that you're in no position for this right now and you don't need any extra conflicts, you decide to leave and look for another place, a place of your own that you can also guard and protect from outsiders. And to do that, the first thing you need to do is dig a hole that will become your home. You try to use your little paws, struggling to dig down, centimeter by centimeter. But in the end, realizing that it's too hard and takes too long, you simply go and drive a gopher out of its burrow. Now this is your home, and the gopher is your food. After a few successful raids, you realize that your body can squeeze into almost any burrow. And now you can terrorize mice, hamsters, and other rodents that hide from you underground. Your hunting is getting better every day, and now you have plenty of food and lots of empty burrows. Your stoat empire is growing and expanding. Now it's you who is defending the territory. But then, at some point, all the burrows are dug up, all the mice are caught. And you start to feel that all of this has become rather boring. So, to add some variety to your life, you decide to go on an adventure. And then you accidentally stumble upon a house where some strange creatures live. They're humans. And there are also lots of chickens living nearby and plenty of grain lying around. And you know that your main enemies, the rodents, love grain. There are a lot of them here. This becomes the main reason to stay here and start hunting. A new life begins, and one day those very humans notice you, and are surprisingly impressed by your efforts. They start smiling at you, praising you, and even pour milk into a bowl for you. Of course you don't drink it, you're not a child anymore. All in all, everything seems to be going great, but one day they decide to set you up in a terrible way. As if in a fog, you wake up in the chicken coop where a human suddenly grabs you by the scruff of the neck, shouting something like, "Where are the chickens, you bastard? Where are the chickens?" That's when it hits you that, apparently, someone killed all the chickens in the coop last night. You swear you have no idea who could have done it, because the last thing you remember from yesterday is hearing screams, rushing in, and then, bang! You came to, and there was no one left. Only the shouting man in front of your eyes. You swear that you yourself were almost killed. Look, your whole head is even bandaged up. At the same time, you're going over in your mind who could have set you up. Who's the rat? The fox. It's definitely the fox. Who else could it be? You've known her for a long time after all. You two became friends once and learned to hunt together. You dive into burrows underground and she waits outside. It was a deal that benefited you both. The little animal above. The fox chases it toward you. The little animal runs out of the burrow, and the fox is already waiting for it there. You remember how you agreed to split things 50-50 with her. But she was clearly being sly back then. How could a ground squirrel not have a liver? It makes no sense. But back then she said, he smoked it away. And when the jaboa didn't have any kidneys, she said he took out a loan. Back then, you believed her. But now you realize that's nonsense. Because okay, maybe once, but a jerboa has 2 kidneys. You realize that all this time she was just deceiving you. And so you loudly and emotionally describe all of this in detail to the person, but he pretends not to understand anything, and his threats only keep escalating. You're scared, and you can't think of anything better than to start threatening him back. You shout that your relative is a honey badger who will come and kick everyone's ass here, that he'll come from Africa and everyone here is doomed. Even wolves would start performing in the circus just to avoid running in the same forest as him. But nothing works. Your life is hanging by a thread, but at the last moment, they let you go. What's going on? You simply remember that you are listed in the Red Book. Because of the assault, you can easily take the person to court. And since he may have acted in collusion with the main rat, the fox, he could face up to 9 years. The laws save you, and you are safely taken to the forest by a human, after which you promise never, under any circumstances, to return to him again. A year has already passed since you were born. You've grown up. It's no longer interesting to take over gopher homes or chase after mice. You realize that adventures have become boring, and you long for a simple family life. You start looking for a mate by making all sorts of sounds, trying to attract females in hopes of a date. A couple of times you get blunt rejections. And then, finally, you find the one. A few dates later, you realize that family life just isn't for you. And 8 kids, that's kind of a lot. You can't handle that many. So you decide to do what your father once did, and his father's father. You leave at just the right time to get some bread, leaving the future mother banded alone. Your mother managed just fine. So she'll probably manage on her own too. Besides, you have more important things to do anyway. During the day, you crawl into your burrow and get a good sleep, and closer to nightfall, you head out to hunt. Kids just don't fit into this routine at all, so you try not to even think about them. And a little later, you find out that there aren't any kids at all. And finally, you feel a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. Now you can dive into your favorite activity, hunting, with a clear conscience. Over the past year, you've gotten really good at it. Your appetite has grown, and now, besides rodents, you strike fear into birds, lizards, and insects as well. You feel like a boss. But then, one night they come for you. It's a human again, and this time, he's not alone. Apparently, after hearing about the honey badger last time, he decided to bring back up himself. Next to him is a huge vicious dog, barking at you, seemingly trying to make good on his words now. Running away is pointless. You're too far from home. And turning your back would be like giving the command to attack. There are no options. You raise your fur and arch your back as much as you can to look bigger and more intimidating. But it's not enough. So you point the barrel at him and warn that it's loaded. They don't believe you. But it really is loaded. They're still laughing. And then you shoot. A pungent, disgusting smell permeates everything around in a matter of seconds. Unfortunately, they don't know this yet, but your second call sign is skunk. After all, you are able to spray a special, unpleasant-smelling substance that protects you in case of danger. You are saved. The enemies cowardly begin to retreat and no longer even look in your direction. You have won. They were clearly scared of you. And then you realize your main strength, and from then on you use the same trick against other predators. If someone tries to corner you, the outcome is always the same. They back off. Maybe now you're just as cool as a honey badger. If you ignore that unpleasant smell coming from you after every fight, but remember, you don't stink. That's the smell of victory. But honestly, if you wanted to, you could easily sink your teeth into the necks of those wolves and dogs. Yeah, even the head rat, the fox. It's just that bigger prey doesn't interest you. It's better to keep running through burrows and catching rodents. And so, wandering into yet another burrow and eating another mouse, you feel that something's wrong with you. The mouse turned out to be poisoned. Tough luck. Not far from your lands, a human decided to take up farming, and along with the pests, you got caught in the crossfire too. But whose fault is it? Of course, it's the head rat, the fox's fault. If it hadn't been for her instigating back then, saying that chickens are actually very tasty, a delicacy, maybe you wouldn't have had to eat them and ruin your relationship with the human, with whom, by the way, life in the same company was actually pretty good. But now you have only a few hours left. What are you thinking about? Maybe about the fact that he didn't stay back then with that bandage, the name of which you've already forgotten. Maybe family life really was a good idea. Although, why torture yourself with these thoughts? It's already too late. This is the end. But almost a year after you're gone, your offspring comes into the world. Those 8 babies you once ran away from. How could that have happened? It's all thanks to the superpower of female steppe polecats, who can delay pregnancy until better times. From 8 to 11 months. And then, it just wasn't the right time. However, you'll never know about it now.